Alright, hey, welcome. Steve and Colin here from Number 12 Cider. We're going to give a little tutorial today on how to bottle your homemade cider. You might have watched our previous video, how to make homemade cider, and actually today we have that finished cider. It's all ready to get bottled. So we've got all of the equipment we need to do that today, and maybe I'll let Colin take over as to what we have here for bottling.
So if you remember, we started with a basic grocery store apple juice. In this case, I believe it was a couple bottles of Old Orchard. And we put some French wine yeast in there and we fermented it out. It's been about 2 months or so. It's a good length of time to know that the fermentation is complete. I can tell it's done because all the bubbling that we saw early on is gone. The top is clear. I see that there's lees or yeast that's kind of gathered on the bottom, so kind of a layer of the lees down there. We have a nice clear cider. I've actually tested it, which is something you should do. I took a wine thief and I pulled some off of here. I used my hydrometer and I found out that in fact the specific gravity is at 0, which means all the sugar has been fermented out. So at this point we're confident we have a nice dry cider, and that's generally what Steve and I prefer. So we are thinking we're ready to bottle this at this point and perhaps drink it soon.
The simplest thing to do for making a carbonated cider at home, which is what we're going to do, we're going to bottle it and we're going to let it carbonate itself, and then it's going to be ready to drink. The simplest thing to do is to take the cider, blend it in with some sugar, fermentable sugar. We call that priming sugar, a specific dose of sugar that gives you the level of carbonation you're looking for without too much, because you could blow up bottles that way. And then after you've packaged that and capped it, let it sit for 2 to 3 weeks in room temperature. That sugar will ferment in the bottle, and in that fermentation process it'll create carbonation. So after 2 or 3 weeks, when you refrigerate it and crack it, it'll have that nice sparkle that you're looking for. What we're not doing, as Colin mentioned, is back-sweetening it today. You can do that at home. The trick is to back-sweeten something that is still alive, it still has yeast in it. You need to use a non-fermentable sugar. So people that are looking to sweeten instead of having a dry product like we're going for need to put something in there in addition to the priming sugar that is non-fermentable. And there's many products on the market today. You can use things like stevia or Splenda. There's products called xylitol, and there's other products that are non-fermentable sugars. And the way you would do that if you're going to back sweeten it is you take a little bit of, before you put your priming sugar in it, you take a little bit of your sweetening product like stevia, and you test and decide how many grams per 12 ounce or per liter that you would want to add to that. And then in addition to adding the priming sugar, you would add that as well. So
that process you described is really the bottle conditioning process of taking a cider and making sure that when you drink it a couple weeks from now, it has some sparkle to it. You very easily, if you don't like carbonation or you don't want any sparkle to it, you could very easily just bottle this as still cider, not add any of the sugars, the non-fermentables, or any of that kind of stuff, and just package it, cap it, refrigerate it, and drink it.
Yeah, definitely.
It would be a still cider with no sparkle. We happen to like a little bit of sparkle in our cider, a little carbonation. It adds a little mouth feel, kind of rounds out the feel of the cider. So we prefer to do that, but you can do a still cider if you want as well.
All right, so now we're going to rack the cider. We're going to transfer it using this, we showed this in our last video, this racking wand, and that helps it makes it really easy for us to siphon the cider from here to there. You see there's a little foam activity in this. That's natural. That after this much time, there's probably something going on there called a malolactic fermentation, which is just a residual process. So it's normal if there's a little bit of foam coming out of there. So what we're going to do while we're racking it is we're going to add our priming sugar. So we dissolved our priming sugar, which we measured at 20 grams per gallon, and we dissolved that in some water. And while we're racking, we're going to mix that in so that that gets all blended in nicely. You might consider stirring that around a little bit while you're blending it, just to make sure you have that priming sugar throughout the liquid, so that when you bottle it, you get enough of that priming sugar in each of the bottles to get the carbonation you're looking for. So this will take a couple of minutes.
We could mention that this is kind of a medium sparkle that we're going for on a carbonation level. You could go much lower, like maybe 8 grams per gallon for a very light sparkle. You could go as high as probably 40 to 50 grams per gallon for more of a champagne heavy sparkle. But we like kind of a medium sparkle for this, we chose.
And we got a good circulation going here with the racking wand, so I think we'll get a good mixture of the priming sugar with the cider.
Okay, so what we have now is racked cider ready for finishing. It has a slight bit of sweetness to it, which we just used plain old table sugar for. In the end, that should amount to a medium sparkle in a bottle. And we want to have this as a dry cider. We're going to now take it from this racking bucket, and Steve's already set up the hoses and the bottle filler connection. And we have washed, cleaned, sanitized, and rinsed our bottles here, which is a very important step. Obviously, if there's bacteria or things in there that shouldn't be, it's going to probably ruin our cider. So you want to make sure you take that step seriously about sanitizing, cleaning equipment. But I think we're ready to go. You've done all this, and let's fill.
Yeah, okay. And this is we call this a filling wand. You can buy these at any brew supply store or online. It's just a wand that has a little button at the end, so that when you press that in the bottom of the bucket of the bottle, it'll start filling. And when you lift it out, it will stop filling, so you don't make a mess. We have a bucket with a spigot on the side. Again, this is something you can buy at any brewery supply store or online. That allows us to pour out and use gravity. We're not using a lot of gravity here. We've got a capper, basic capper. You can get those again at a brewery supply store or online. And we've sanitized some caps. So I'll fill these up, and Colin will start capping them, and this cider will be ready to sit for a couple weeks before it's drinkable.
Generally, you want to leave a little bit of airspace in the top. That'll allow for some of that CO2 during this bottle conditioning process to have some room. You probably don't want to leave too much, because you get a little bit too much oxygen in there, which can eventually connect with the bacteria to probably ruin the cider. So
All
that's
right.
about right, about an inch or two at the top. I'm very simply going to set a cap on top. We've got just a basic capper you can get at any brewery store. I've laid the cap nicely on the lid. I'm going to make sure that this cap top kind of seats itself right in that little rim. And once I have that, I will then just very carefully, once I know it's centered, I can then crimp it down. And that's just simply done. And there's a finished bottle of cider. What I would say about this is the sugar now will react with the yeast that's in the bottle. We did not add any yeast. Some people do that during this process. We are always confident there's a certain amount of yeast in the cider still, so we will assume that that's the case here. It'll be enough to react with the sugar to create that CO2 sparkle. So what we want to do with this now is create the environment for that yeast to be happy and do its job. We'll set this in a kind of a maybe room temperature 60 to 70 degree room for about 2 weeks or so, and that should be enough to take care of that process. So now it's just a matter of setting it aside, and hopefully in a couple weeks we'll be able to drink it.
All right, that's it for home bottling. Feel free to send us questions if you have any. There's a lot of different ways to package your finished cider product, and we've done them all. Back-sweetening with non-fermentable sugars, but you can keg, and that gives you some different options as well.
You can pasteurize, sweeten and pasteurize.
Here at number 12, we do a lot of canning. That requires some specialized equipment, but you can do all of those things. So stay tuned. We'll put another video out here once we get an opportunity to try this fine cider.